afternoon everyone. Now it's time for second session by Dr. Venkatram Reddy sir on laboratory animal welfare and alternatives to animal usage and in research. And it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Venkatram Reddy sir. Sir currently working as assistant professor in Department of Animal Sciences Zoology in Yogi Vemana University. And sir awarded PhD in genetics in Usmania University, Hyderabad. And sir obtained his master's degree in biotechnology from Sri Venkateshwara University and obtained his bachelor's degree with BJC in SB University. And Dr. Venkatram Reddy sir held various positions in academics and research, working as assistant professor from 2019 to till date. And sir worked as UGC Raman postdoctoral fellow in the division of allergy and immunology in the University of South Florida, USA. And sir worked as visiting scholar in University of Michigan, USA. Sir served as a scientist for 2 years in Virtue Biotech Limited, Hyderabad, and worked as research assistant in Blue Peter Research Center, Hyderabad. Sir's interested research areas are pulmonary diseases and role of nuclear receptors, rDNA technology, and natural products. Sir received 6 research grants by various agencies like DST Sir, UGC, and CSIR, and received 2 academic grants from CSIR and Indian Academy of Sciences. Sir received AP Scientist Award 2021, Associate Fellow of Academy of Sciences 2018, UGC Raman Postdoctoral Fellowship, DST Fast Track Young Scientist in 2012. And Sir is a CPCSEA nominee for IAEC from 2014 to till date. Sir held various administrative positions like member for Student Induction Program, NSS Program Officer, external member in IQAC and BOS member in Department of Zoology. And Sir guided and guiding 6 PhD students. Sir has a total of 40 research publications in national and international SCI journals. Sir published 1 book and contributed 8 book chapters. Sir organized 5 conferences and attended 30 conferences. Sir is invited as resource person and organized by various colleges, and Sir reviewed more than 70 research papers as a reviewer for Elsewhere and Bentham-like journals, and Sir is a grant reviewer for SERP India. With this brief introduction, I would like to invite Dr. Venkatram Reddy sir to take over this session. Thank you.
COVID is not that over, still there continuing. Okay. So this is 4th day, right? You may be listening a lot of phytochemicals, purifications, characterizations, and they're also talking about some bioactivities and many other things, right? So today I am just going to cover. This is not technical talk, okay? This is very general. Most of the things you are aware of that, but I will touch some of the important points in my talk: laboratory animal welfare and alternatives to animal usage in research. Okay. Here, you know the animals, right? Animals generally we are categorized into farm animals, right? And managed animals by the humans. So farm animals, you know, they are bred for milk, meat, eggs, and so on, right? And then there are other animals like companion animals, zoo animals, working animals, pet animals, right? There are several animals are there. Every animal has their own welfare. Okay. So I'm not going to talk about all these animals. So my focus is mainly laboratory animals, okay? So that is used in research, testing and education, okay? So those laboratory animals I will discuss. Next slide please. So my talk mainly focus on just introduction, what is laboratory animal and history of the laboratory animals and classification of laboratory animals based on their size, housing facility and how they can be taken care. And I will list some of the important laboratory animals used in testing as well as in research, and I will touch upon some of the aspects, mainly welfare issues that is associated with the laboratory animals. And once you understand the laboratory animal issues, welfare issues, we will see what are the welfare standards to be taken care to solve the issues related to animals that is used in the laboratory research. And also I will just touch upon the alternatives to animal usage in teaching, testing and research. Okay, so this part is not actually people are encouraged because lot of pharmacy colleges and other institutes who are doing lot of research on natural products and any other chemist products, whatever it is, okay, people are very much granted to use laboratory animals without knowing what is that animal, what it does and how to grow them, how to take care of them. Without knowing anything about the laboratory animal, they are just using like that because it is easy to get the animals, inject something, dissect something and analyze something and then publishing, especially in pharmacy colleges and some research organizations mainly for PhD purpose and for the thesis purpose. They are getting the animals, extracting some plants without characterizing, without doing any preliminary work on that. They are giving to the animals and then getting some results and publishing with low impact factor journals or whatever it is, and they're doing their job and finishing it, right? So that is not the case. Okay, so that is why for just preliminary studies, okay, and to find some of the important things, alternatives are there. Okay, so I will explain those things, and in the next session I will go through the Form B, okay, that is has to be submitted to the Institutional Animal Ethics Committee for approval. Okay, so if you want to perform any animal experiments with your compounds, you cannot do like whatever you think. Okay, it has to be submitted to the committee. Your institute has the IASC. Okay, so you have to submit the protocols in a proper Form B, and that form will be discussed in the committee, and then they will ask lot of questions whether the subject you have provided here is relevant or not. Those things will be discussed and then will be approved if it is appropriate. So those things will be discussed in the next session. Okay, first session we will be discussing these things. Next slide, please. So first we will see what is laboratory animal. So laboratory animal are those which can be bred, reared and maintained in the laboratory and suitable conditions. Remember, the suitable condition is very important for well-being of animals. Most of the laboratories which is reared, used for the mainly for the research, they are not maintaining in suitable conditions. If you don't maintain in suitable conditions, expected results will not be in your way. Okay, so you will get something that is not actually the results what the exact research outcome. And National Research Council has given one more definition. Laboratory animal is any vertebrate animal produced or used in research, testing and teaching. And this is the World Animal Health Organization. There is like WHO, there is another organization in UK. So they have given the name laboratory animal is a animal intended for use in research. Any animal that is used for research, they are considered as a laboratory animal. Next slide, please. So in most cases, the lab animals are bred purposefully to have defined physiological, metabolic, genetic and pathogen pre-status. So those animals, whatever we use, okay, they have inbred mostly, and they have defined physiological, metabolic, genetic backgrounds. So for a particular experiment, you need particular strain of animals. So which strain we want, like that we can get it from the breeding facilities. If you look at this figure, more than 115 millions, that means more than 11 crores of animals are being used for animal testing around the world per year. So this is not a small number. Okay, think about this. So these animals are experience stress, pain and suffering before, during and after experimentation. So these three things you never see: stress, pain and suffering of the animals. You never see on the animals, they suffer inside, okay, never exposed and feel outside. So these things you have to identify and treat them so that you will get good results. Otherwise, your expected results will not be achieved. So these most important, stress, pain, suffering, should be avoided when you do the experiments. In most cases, animals are euthanized during or after experiments. After completing our experiment or during the experiment, for collecting some samples, you are killing the animals. Killing the animals is euthanization. Okay, so that process is also not done by properly. You have to give the euthanasia, like proper anesthesia, and then kill them. So some of them mostly practicing put it in hard chemicals like chloroform or doing cervical dislocation. All those things are not accepted right now. Okay, next slide please. So coming to the history part, so these animals are being used from the 2nd century itself to understand the various diseases, metabolic pathways for developing and discovery of various medicines. Okay, so history is very long, but historically these research animals played key role in understanding the anatomy, physiology of the human body as well. Besides understanding the anatomy and using medical research, it is also used for different purposes. Mainly, blood circulation was discovered in 16th hundreds years, and functions of the lung was identified in 15th century. So all these things are discovered mainly based on the animal work, animals usage. So more recently, the development of important therapies and preventative treatments including antibiotics, hormones, vaccines, so many things are discovered based on the animal research, and animals are using for testing also. So most of the animals are used for testing. Testing means of toxicity testing before it goes to into the next level of research. Next slide please. So in India actually it was started in 1860s when the British government imported some of the chemical drugs into India. So there is some mandatory are there. So every chemical that has to be sent to the humans before it has to be tested for toxicity testing. So for that purpose in India it was started in 1860s. And also they have established some Pasteur institutes during that 1900 times, 1900 years, and mainly for the purpose of production of rabies vaccine. So they used to have use 6,000 rabbits per year. See, this is huge number. Production of human vaccine used to kill many number of animals. Okay, so that is actually not fair, using animals and treating them non-ethical way. And if you see, every Nobel Prize winning in medical research, physiology, are involved with use of animals. So they have used most of the cases animals for their research, and they discovered something and they awarded the Nobel Prize. So that is the importance of using animals. Next slide please. And if you look at the major areas where these laboratory animals are used, the drug development, you know, so for development of new drugs, both humans and animals are being used. Toxicity testing, safety testing. For any drug it has to be tested, they use different species of animals like rats, rabbits, dogs, and even primates also they use for testing of this any chemicals for safety purpose. And basic research is nothing but to find the fundamentals of mechanisms of actions in your cells, tissues and organs. So it is a curiosity driven research. You don't do any applicative research, you just do find some important things, mechanism of actions of drugs or physiology, normal physiology, pathology, that comes under the basic research. And education, mainly to train the students, that including veterinarians, students also, they used to have some animals for demonstration purpose and then dissection purpose, showing some organs and other things. These are the major areas that animals are being used. Next slide. And next one is the classification of lab animals. So lab animals are classified into mainly based on the sentience. See, most of the animals are sentience. Sentience is nothing but the animal have the capacity to experience different feelings such as suffering and pleasure. These are subjective. Okay, animals like humans, they also suffer, they have feelings, everything they have, but they don't speak out. That's it. That's the only difference. They have the feelings. So these animals have the ability to evaluate the actions of others. So they have the capacity, whatever the other people doing around the animals, they have the ability to see what is happening, and they also have to remember its own actions and consequences. If you visit to the animal house facility and see the animal, next time if you go there, they will able to recognize you and remember you. Okay, like that ability is also there for animals. They also assess risks and benefits, and they have some feelings. So everything they are able to have in there. Have some degree of awareness. What is happening surrounding them also they know each other. Because of knowing all these things, they are called sentient animals like us. So based on that, they are categorized into like small laboratory animal and large laboratory animal. This sentience, okay, as you know, they have the feelings. They can suffer, they can feel, they can be happy. So all those things is mainly increased from the invertebrates to the main primates like humans were increase at birds. These are less sentient animals because their nervous system is not developed fully, and up to primates they have well developed nervous system. Okay, so when you want to do any experiments, try to use invertebrates first. Okay, start with low sentiency animals. Okay, next slide. And then laboratory animals as categorized into two types, as I mentioned. Small laboratory animals, okay, so they can be housed in cages. Small cages like mouse, rat, guinea pig, rabbit. So these are mostly used small laboratory animals for research and testing. Next slide please. And coming to the large laboratory animals, so they cannot be housed in the cages. So they have to run in open spaces, open areas. They have to keep like dogs, monkeys, chimpanzees, other large animals. They are also used for research. They will be kept outside the cages and then they will be watched. Okay, so protocols, whatever they used for research has to be approved by the CPCCA. This I will discuss later. This is a statutory body approved by the Prevention of Cruelty of Animals Act, PCA Act. And small animals can be approved within the institute by the IAAC. IAAC is the Institutional Animal Ethics Committee that can be approved here itself. When you want to work with large animals, that has to be recommended by the IAAC at the institute and then sent to the CPCCA. They will approve it based on the protocols you have submitted. Okay, examples: dogs, monkeys, and chimpanzees. Next slide. And another classification is based on the type rodents and non-rodents. Rodents are very small animals like rat, mice, gerbil, hamsters, guinea pigs. These are very small compared to the non-rodent animals. Non-rodent animals are lagomorphs, non-human primates, cats, dogs, sheep. So all these are comes under the large animals. Okay? So rodents, non-rodents. Most of the work has been done in the rodents, especially these mice, rats. We routinely use for basic research and toxicity testing also. If anything is positive, then they go to the dogs and other primates for the extensive findings. Next slide, please. And we will see some of the animals, just characteristics. What are the characteristics of each animal? And then we will move to the next alternative. Okay? So So zebra fish is a small animal. Okay, now it is an actually alternative. This is less sentient animal compared to the mice, rats and other animals, large animals. That is why most of the people now shifting to this laboratory animal, that is zebra. So these have characteristic zebra stripes on this body and pins. Okay, and it is easy to maintain also. So these facilities now is there in our institute. This Viper is holding this zebra fish facility. So their lifespan is 2 to 3 years. So mainly their developmental stages are very transparent. Their egg development and developmental studies can be easily studied and monitored. So gene expression patterns, developmental of organs can be easily studied using zebra fish. So this nowadays is also using for animal model for human diseases like TB. It can be studied. Cancer studies also can be done using zebra fish models. So if you want to do any work, try to use this zebra fish instead of mice and other large animals. And the mouse, is a small, very important animal. 80% of the biomedical research are conducting on the mice. Remaining only 15% is like rat and other large animals. Okay? So because of this, it's very small, and gestation period is only 21 pups. We can get like 15, around 10 to 15 pups easily can be handled. Okay, so like that, likewise mouse is very much used in the research purpose. If you look at, there are more than 400 genetically defined inbred. Even if we have transgenic animals also, whatever gene if you want to put it into that animal, you can make it and use it for different studies for basic research. And rats, similar to the mouse, but they are size wise they are little bit more, and their rats are very much docile. Okay, so these animals have actually nocturnal animals. They live together. They are social animals. So we make sure to have some social enrichment in the cages. When doing experiments, we have to provide some social enrichment so that they can interact each other. They will be very active. So if you keep single animals in a cage, they will feel like that, and your results will not be so active. So that is why you need to understand their physiology, their biology, their social activities, everything you have to understand. Okay, so that you can be properly maintain the animals. So these also can be used in very much basic research as well as in toxicology testing studies. Next slide please. And guinea pigs, these are also a kind of rodents. Okay, so they are lifespan of 3 to 5 years. These guinea pigs are also using for basic research and also immunology, infectious diseases. Actually, these guinea pigs are more susceptible to tuberculosis and vaccine, and that is why the tuberculosis infection can be done on that, and anti-tuberculosis drugs can be evaluated using guinea pigs. These are very docile. It can be also companion animals. Okay, they don't make any nest-like things. So if somebody provide nest, they will be staying in that, and then so every animal, whatever animal you use for your research or testing, you have to understand their complete biology and their welfare status. Then only you can use it. Otherwise, they will not be properly accommodated. Hamsters, these hamsters also most like rodents. So these are the third most widely used animal models for different human diseases. First is mouse, second is rat, and third is the hamsters. So they are also used in different areas of research, biotransformation assays, susceptible for leishmaniasis, infectious diseases, metabolic diseases, basic research, different things. So these are very stout mouse-like structures only. Okay, you have to handle very carefully these animals also, like mice. Next slide please. And rabbits. So rabbits mainly used for the toxicology studies. These are very timid animals. Okay, so with large eyes, and then they can be used for embryology, toxicology, virology, and even for monoclonal, polyclonal antibody raising also they can be used. Mostly they are also used for skin eye irritation test. If you have any new compound, new chemical compound, they will be using for skin testing, eye irritation test. Okay, OEC guidelines following, they will be using for different purposes. Okay, antibodies also will be generated. Dogs, is a large animal, as I mentioned in the things. They will be mainly used, the beagle dogs and hounds are mainly used for biomedical research. They are commonly used as a second non-rodent species in toxicity testing. Toxicity testing generally be done in rats and rabbits. After the small animals, they do in the second testing, that is done in the dogs. Okay? So that for that purpose it is also used, and also used for the elimination, plasma elimination studies. If you have any new drugs, okay, pharmacokinetics, pharmacodynamic studies also can be done using dogs. Okay? So these are very difficult to handle, and lot of animal welfare issues also associated with dogs. Next slide. And coming to these non-human primates, so human primates like monkeys and apes. Apes are very highly intelligent primates like chimpanzees, and then this is orangutan. Several other animals are there that also used for research purpose. These animals are only used only if you have preliminary data, that is working in small animals and dogs, then only it will be used. Okay, so mainly for conducting clinical phases, phase 3, clinical phase ముందు ప్రీక్లినికల్ లో టెస్ట్ చేసేదానికి మాత్రమే ఈ అనిమల్స్ యూజ్ చేస్తారు. మెయిన్లీ ఇమ్యూనాలజీ, హెచ్ఐవి, ఎయిడ్స్ అండ్ అదర్ ఇన్ఫెక్షన్స్ డిసీజ్ చేసేదానికి దిస్ హైలీ యూస్ఫుల్ అనిమల్స్, బికాస్ దిస్ apes, especially chimpanzees and gorillas, having 99% similarity in genomes compared to the humans. Their physiology, metabolism, everything is similar to humans. That is why they are most preferred animals to test the end products, not at the preliminary stages. End products test చేయాలంటే మనకి ఈ large size animals use చేయాలి. Okay? A lot of difficulties are there with these animals. You cannot easily done the experiments using these animals. These animals has to be approved by the CPCA committee. Okay. Next slide, please. So rats, mice, rabbits, can be get from the breeding facilities, but these animals like dogs and primates cannot be done by the breeding facilities. Okay, these can be obtained from different fields like dog facilities. There or sometimes I can get the permission from wildlife also, because they are associated with the wildlife. Okay? Now you understood what are the lab animals, right? What are the sizes, what are the different animals that can be used for the lab research testing. I am not talking about for the education. Education I will touch upon few points why it is studying and what is happening to the education. So these are the welfare issues in the laboratory animals. So now we are familiar with the animal, so that can be used for our research. We cannot use like that. Okay, they also have sentient animals. They have feeling. They suffer when you do something. So we have to keep it in mind that all these issues. Okay, so that these issues are mainly I will list out. So these issues are associated with the animal welfare. Animal welfare is nothing but the well-being of animals. Animal welfare is nothing but well-being of animals. It is a property of that animal. So you have to take care of that property. You cannot just use as a granted. Okay? So it is relevant to living animals and exist on range from very poor to very good. So animal welfare అంటే very poor to very good ఉంటుంది. మధ్యలో పాయింట్స్ ఉన్నవన్నమాట. దానికి 1, 2 అంటే లెక్క చేయడం. పూర్ టు గుడ్ ఉంటుంది. పూర్ అంటే ఇఫ్ యూ నాట్ ప్రొవైడ్ ఫుడ్, వాటర్, దట్ ఈస్ మినిమం essential things that is required for the any animal or for human beings. So that is the essential things. If you provide, their welfare will be increased, your results will be good. In the context of animal welfare, you have to consider the sentience, that implies the ability to experience pleasure and pain. If anything goes wrong with their pleasure, that welfare is not good. So you have to be take care. So animals may not understand everything as we do. Humans they cannot do like that. But they have the same needs for food, water, shelter, companionship with other animals, freedom from movement, avoidance of pain. All these things they can understand, but they cannot speak. That is the only difference that I mentioned earlier. Next slide, please. So if you look at the major welfare issues associated with the laboratory animal, I have listed here like 1, 2, 3, 6, 7 issues. If you want to work with any laboratory animal, you need to understand all these issues. First one is species differences and inadequate knowledge on the needs. So I have listed different species like mouse, rat, rabbits, dogs, monkeys, primates. So each species have different needs. You need to understand what is the need, what is the space that is required, what kind of food it eats. Everything you need to understand about that species. Okay, breeding time, everything you need to understand before you handle the things, before you do any experiment. So that welfare issues comes under. And inadequate knowledge, because the animals are approved for an experiment. If you don't know what is happening to the animals, how much it is feed and how much water it takes, you don't have any idea of that animal. Okay, you cannot feed properly. So welfare issues comes under that. And laboratory animal environment. This is very much essential. This is like a house for them. Okay, if the environment of the particular animal is not good, okay, then main welfare issues comes. Okay, housing facility, housing social enrichment materials has to be provided. Some animals may form nesting, some animals may dig, some animals may climb. All those things has to be provided within the cages. Otherwise, they feel uncomfortable, their physiology may be different and your results may not become good. Okay, so those things has to be, all these things, okay, whatever I mentioned, I am not going into details because these are the guidelines issues that is given in the CPCA guideline. That is there in the open website. You go through that, I will show you the website link at the end. So these things you need to understand. Housing conditions, temperature, AC maintain there. Okay, humidity control. You have to provide water, light 12 hours, light 12 hours, dark to maintain. All these things has to be maintained properly. Okay, dusting undaguddu, noise undaguddu, drainage proper ga undali, insects raaguddu, insecticides spray cheyali. Everything has to be taken care. Okay, if you don't take care, those are the welfare issues. And use of animals for drug development, mainly for doing basic research. You need to understand which animals has to be used, what kind of routes of drugs has to be given. Okay, all those things has to be understood before doing any kind of animal experiments. Using large samples of lab animals. So doses, for example, rat, mice, they take very small amount of volume. If you inject 100 or 200 microliters only, you can give orally. If you give half ml or more than 2 ml to the mice, they will be dying. Okay, so those things has to be remember. Even if intraperitoneally, if you are injecting or intravenous, if you are injecting, you have to determine the doses based on their weight, body weight, their conditions and other things. And most important thing, human endpoint. So while ending your experiment, while doing experiment, if the animals requires euthanization, you cannot kill like that. So you have to use proper endpoints like using of anesthesia, using of carbon dioxide, and several other points are there that has to be taken care. Okay, they should not feel any pain during the euthanization. So those things also they are listed in. These are the main welfare issues. Each welfare has to be taken care while doing the animal experiment. Otherwise, it is compromising the welfare of animals. Practically, the animal welfare is to reduce the negative experiences. So if you follow these issues, follow the minimum standards to avoid these things, so they experience reduce the negative experience like pain, suffering, discomfort. These are the negative experiences, and to improve the positive environment. So this positive environment basically improves the basic needs, that is like food, water, enrichment. I was mentioning social enrichment, proper handling. Handling also makes some kind of stress to the animals. Restraining methods, how you handle the animals, how you hold the animals, all these things also. If you have practice, then it gives the positive environment. Next slide, please. Welfare of lab animals also compromise 3 states. If you don't properly provide the welfare issues as I mentioned in the previous slide, so mainly three welfare issues based on the state of the animal. First one is mental health. So mental health is nothing but emotionally well-being. So that also will be compromised, like pain, fear, distress. When you handle animals, this leads to mental health. Physical health, especially if you don't provide proper temperature, okay, proper housing conditions, they leads to some kind of diseases that leads to physical problems to the animals. And behavioral, this is very important. Behavioral, each animal express their normal behavior. If you are not providing proper cages, proper food, proper environment, so they don't behave in normal behaviors. Okay? They don't behave a normal behavior that affects on his physiology. End results will not be good. Okay? So in order to address these components, animal facility in research institute has to be managed by in a scientific manner. So animal issues, welfare issues, we have to understand scientifically, okay, which is good, which is not good. Based on that, you have to maintain your animals in the animal house. Like that, if you maintain, you will provide all this mental health, good, physical health and behavioral. If you have all these things in order, the animal will behave normally. Otherwise, it will not be acting normally. Okay, next slide. So you understand the welfare issues. Welfare issues nothing but ఎక్కడెక్కడ మనం ఏవే కండిషన్స్ అబ్జర్వ్ చేస్తామో అవన్నీ అనిమల్కి పెయిన్ డిస్ట్రెస్ ప్లస్ సఫర్ అవుతాయో వాటిని ఇష్యూస్ అంటాం వెల్ఫేర్ ఇష్యూస్. ఆ వెల్ఫేర్ ఇష్యూస్ మనము సాల్వ్ చేయాలంటే దెర్ ఆర్ సమ్ సర్టన్ రూల్స్ గైడ్ లైన్స్ ఫ్రేమ్డ్ బై డిఫరెంట్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్స్. సో దోస్ ఆర్ కాల్డ్ మినిమం వెల్ఫేర్ స్టాండర్డ్స్. ఇఫ్ యూ ఫాలో ద మినిమం స్టాండర్డ్స్, మన మినిమం స్టాండర్డ్స్ ఏంటి, ఫుడ్, వాటర్, షెల్టర్, ఏదైనా అవసరం అయితే మెడిసిన్, దోస్ ఆర్ మినిమం స్టాండర్డ్స్ టు లివ్ ఫర్ us. Like that, animals also have some minimum standards. So those standards is based on the welfare issues. Okay. So these standards will describe the ethics of care. Every person, principal investigator, who is doing handling the animals, they should be aware of the animals, species, as I mentioned, and also they should be aware of the animal house conditions and ethical consideration also there. Okay, they have to feel like human beings. Wherever there is, they have to be consider them as a emotionally, morally similar to humans. And then procurement of animals. So we don't breed our animals. We procure from some other breeding animal. How you are procuring? What are the transportation mean? What are the conditions you are providing? So by the time they reach to the facility, wherever you are using, by the time they suffer, they distress, they feel pain, but they don't have water during the transit. All these things has to be taken care. For that also there are minimum standards. You have to bring them in a AC car or air conditioned cages with water and other small food material. You should not put many of animals in one cage. So there are certain guidelines are there. All those guidelines has to be followed when you do procurement. Disease surveillance also has to be done. Disease surveillance is nothing but when you bring the animal, you have to check for any diseases in there. So this can be done with the help of veterinarian. Okay, if there is any disease animals, initially we have to be quarantined 1 week, 10 days, and then if you find no diseases, then these animals can be mixed with other animals and do the experiments after doing the quarantine. All those things are the minimum standards. Guidelines are issued in this official guidelines and other international guidelines also you can be followed. Housing conditions, husbandry, feeding, watering. So there are 5 rules are there, 5 freedoms are there for animals. I will explain that. All 5 freedoms will be covering all these minimum welfare standards. Transport, anesthesia. This is a human endpoint. Human endpoint at the end of the experiment or during the experiment. You have to kill animals by following some rules like giving anesthesia and then euthanizing by cervical dislocation. Because they should not feel pain while killing the animal. If you give anesthesia, they will be unconscious and then you can dissect and then collect the animal's organs. Next slide, please. See, now I have explained welfare issues, minimum welfare standards. So to follow that minimum welfare standards for laboratory animals, you need to have certain guidelines. That guidelines is framed by the CPCA. So this is a statutory committee established under the Prevention of Cruelty to Animal Act in 1960, that is called PCA Act. So this PCA Act will tell you Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act. So there itself has given the guidelines, what are the things that has to be used when you do experiments with animals. Okay, so this has recently given updated guidelines that can be used for laboratory animals in 2015. So these guidelines are mainly intended to assure quality maintenance and welfare of laboratory animals. So laboratory animal facility quality బాగుండాలి, మినిమం వెల్ఫేర్ స్టాండర్డ్స్ ఫాలో అయ్యేట్టు ఉండాలి. ఆ గైడ్లైన్స్ ఇక్కడ ఇచ్చారన్నమాట. వితౌట్ ఫాలోయింగ్ దీస్ గైడ్లైన్స్ యూ డూ ఎక్స్పెరిమెంట్, యు ఆర్ నాట్ ఫాలోయింగ్ దీస్ గైడ్లైన్స్ అండ్ యు ఆర్ కాంప్రమైజింగ్ ది వెల్ఫేర్ ఇష్యూస్ ఆఫ్ ది అనిమల్ వెల్బీయింగ్ అనేది అక్కడ మనం ఫాలో కావడం చేస్తాం. సో ఇన్ ఇండియా more than 1800 animal facilities have been registered with CPCA. This is, as I mentioned, it is a statutory committee. So this institute also is registered with the CPCA to conduct animal experiments. Like that, in India 1800 or more animal facilities are there. Okay. Without registering with this committee, you cannot perform any experiments. Okay. And of course, after registering this institute with CPCA, there is a committee also to approve the animal protocols to conduct any experiments. So you have to follow these guidelines. Next. So care of laboratory animals means the effective care given to laboratory animals by humans to safeguard their welfare and interest, to avoid causing unnecessary harm and pain. This is laboratory animal care. Everybody has to be considered morally, intentionally, okay, they are animals like us, so that we treat them like human beings. Next. So now we have discussed animal welfare issues, minimum welfare standards to taken care for the laboratory animal. Wherever there is a possibility, you try to be avoiding the animals. Okay. So most of the cases in pharmacy institutes, because this training program is mainly for evaluation of phytochemicals, biological activity, isolation, right? So every phytochemical has some activity. So those activities can be confirmed initially by different tests. Those tests called alternative tests. Before going to animal experiments, you have to first confirm the activities. In vitro activities కానీ, in silico activities కానీ, like enzyme activities కానీ, ఏదో రకంగా దాన్ని మనం ఐడెంటిఫై చేసిన తర్వాతనే you have to move to the animals. Otherwise you should not go. Blindly you cannot go to the animal facilities. Okay? So for that purpose there is a framework that is developed by the Russell and Butch in 1959. Okay? So they proposed 3 R's for the animals that is used in experiments. Every effort should be made to replace them with non-sentient alternatives. So all animals, whatever vertebrate animals or sentient animals, they feel, they suffer. So wherever there is a possibility, you try to replace with them non-sentient alternatives. Non-sentient animals like invertebrates, okay, you can use, or any other alternatives. Okay, for that they have given these 3 R's. I will explain in the later slides what are the 3 R's. Next slide please. So this slide will mainly explain about the teaching methods for alternatives. As you know, more than 1000 calves are killed in India for each year for just teaching purpose for the veterinary students, for the anatomy, physiology, organs, what study చేసేదానికి more than 1000 calves kill చేశారు. Now this has been banned completely by the VCI, Veterinary Council of India. And also thousands of frogs, rats, guinea pigs, rabbits suffer and die for dissection and other types of training part of their academics. This is also banned by UGC now. And Pharmacy Council also not allowing in undergraduates. For B pharmacy law, any experiments using animals is banned completely. Only for M pharmacy it is allowed. That is again it has to be approved by the institutional committee. Okay. And as I mentioned in the earlier slide, 115 millions of animals, lab animals, are being used for research and testing around the world for annually. This cannot be avoided because research animals cannot be avoided, testing animals cannot be avoided because it has to be go through because all discoveries as mentioned in the initial slide has made with the use of animals. Okay? Wherever there is the alternatives you can use, but research purpose, testing purpose it has to be used. Next slide please. So mainly for teaching, Animal Welfare Board of India has taken steps to ensure dissections, practicals, everything has banned on animal. UGC has given guidelines, especially intermediate, undergraduate, PG levels, zoology, any other life sciences. It is completely banned. Now we are giving training virtually. There are several softwares available. Those softwares we are using virtually, dissecting, virtually demonstrating. Even the softwares you can dissect, you can display the organs like that. Even we are routing also for your bee pharmacy and other things is not allowed. Only use animals that is already being used for research purpose that can be used for different drug routing and demonstration purposes. And Veterinary Council also in 2016 completely banned the off killing for the demonstration. So they also developed alternative models. I am not going to explain alternative models that is being used for teaching purpose. Okay. Next slide please. So an alternative to animal usage is any procedure, method, technique, approach that meant to replace or reduce the usage of animals required for your experiment. So that process we call as an alternative to the animal. So it can be reduction, it can be replacement or refinement of your experiment is called like alternate. Okay. So non-animal methods, there are several companies in India and abroad develop non-animal methods like simulations, computer-based simulations, interactive CD-ROMs, films, charts to teach anatomy, complex biological process. These non-animal methods sometimes better than many of the live animals that is used for demonstration and teaching purposes. Okay? So that is why use of non-animal method will not compromise. The only thing you should have will to learn. Lot of things are there in internet. You can learn lot of things also. Next slide please. So as we allowed using living creatures in testing to enhance our knowledge and science to improve the mankind destiny, if your answer is no, are we allowed? No, there is no discussion at all. Allow cheyakute, there is no discussion. Animal will be freely living and then they can be used. Cannot be used. If your answer is yes, then lot of debates are there. So if your answer is yes, you should go for alternatives. Okay? You always think of alternatives in testing and research. Any ethical debate, mainly IAS, mainly what we discuss is, we always try to reduce the number of animals that is used, or is there any alternative methods you have tested before coming to the use of animals. So these things will be stressed so that we can avoid the number of animals, reduce the animals, all those things by providing alternative animals. Okay, so you have to look for any reduction, refinement, okay, replacement. So those three R's I will explain in the next slide. So you have to look for this. So these are the list, 2 slides I have put the list. This is available in the internet. So these are laws, regulations regarding uses of laboratory animals. It was started with the PCA Act in 1960. Later CPCA is formed in 64, it's an independent body. And 72 Wildlife Protection Act has been implemented. So if you want to use any wild animals, you have to take permission from the Wildlife Protection Act. And this Indian National Science Academy established a guidelines, especially in IISc and other major institutes. They use a lot of animals for basic research and also chemical testing new drugs. So they have framed some guidelines that implemented in 92 and revised continuously. In 1998, breeding and experiments on animals is also revised by the CPCA several times in 2001, 2006 and now 2015 also they have revised. Next slide. And 2001 ICMR has given some guidelines what kind of animals is used, what are the guidelines for use of laboratory animal for medical colleges they have given. Even now medical colleges also they have banned. Only for research purpose, pharmacology department, MD they will be approving the protocol. Otherwise no research. And MCA amended their recommendations to use alternatives to animal experiments. So that is why everywhere, so for basic testing and basic education they have banned. Only for research and the chemical testing of animals it is being allowed. And UGC, as I mentioned in the earlier slide, it is also banned dissecting animals. So they have provided some softwares. So we have to buy those softwares and demonstrate. Next slide, please. And then if you come, why alternatives to animal usage testing? Alternatives useful. Why can't you use? I have explained all these things, right? Welfare issues also they explain. Welfare standards explain. Because of it is associated with the animal welfare and ethical reasons. Because animals are sentient. So that is why we cannot use the animals for experiments. There are social concerns, animal activities are there. Biodiversity loss will be there if you use like frogs and other wild animals. Large number, 1.15 million animals are being used. Okay. Scientific reasons, this is big question. All animal experiments, whatever you do, you don't get proper results. That is mainly relevance, whether these animal models are relevant to the human diseases or not. So those things is again questionable. Reproducibility, if you do some experiment, produce some results that can be reproducible somewhere in India or somewhere in the world. So reproducibility also sometimes a problem. So that reason we may have to look for alternative. And legal policy reasons, there are certain laws, animal welfare laws, acts, trades laws, everything is there. So those also comes into the picture to go for alternatives. And economics, so using of animals is not easy. Lot of animal facilities requires expensive facilities, and getting animals, each mouse costs 300 rupees, each rat costs 400 rupees, animal feed is 1 kg 200 rupees. Like that, facility also maintaining air conditions, animal house attenders, veterinarian, all these things are expensive. Okay, time consuming, cannot do. If you use bioinformatics studies, in silico docking, computer based things, within minutes or within day, you are getting all the results that later can be tested, not directly on the animals. Next slide please. So these are the 3 R's I was talking. So CPCA has approved and provided the framework of 3 R's to betterment of the animal usage in the protective well-being of animals, animal welfare. So reduction is main thing that we have to take care. Any strategy that will reduce the number of animals being used in the laboratory animals without compromising the statistical output, without compromising your output results. Okay? So you have to refine or reduce the number. For example, if you use 10 number of animals for one group, so that may be reduced to 6 members. That makes statistically significant results. For that you may have to consult the biostatistician, you may have to refer the literature, what are the minimum number of animals that is being used. So that strategy is called reduction, so that you can avoid the large number of animal usage. Refinement is just modification of the experimental procedures, so that you can avoid pain, stress and other parameters associated with the compromising the well-being of animals. So you have to revise the technique that is used, refine the technique so that you can avoid the pain, stress to the animals. Replacement, see methods which avoid or replace the use of animals in laboratory cells, like 3D models, cell culture models. So this is completely replacement. If there is any alternatives, you just replace the animal experiment. That is the third one. The fourth one, as introduced recently, rehabilitation. Rehabilitation means when you do experiments with animals, you just cannot leave the animals like that. If there is no end point of the animals, no killing of the animals, no euthanization of animals, you have to maintain the animals until its natural death by providing the free food and water and shelter. And natural death వరకు మనము మెయిన్గా rabbits and other animals, small mice, rats అయితే rehabilitation applicable కాదు. మెయిన్గా ర్యాబిట్స్, డాగ్స్, లార్జ్ అనిమల్స్ ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో దానికి రిహాబిలిటేషన్ ప్రొవైడ్ చేయాలి అంటే ఇట్ గెట్స్ స్నాప్డ్ సో దట్ యూ కెన్ అవాయిడ్ ద పెయిన్ అండ్ స్ట్రెస్ ఆఫ్టర్ ది ఎక్స్పెరిమెంటేషన్. నెక్స్ట్ స్లైడ్ ప్లీజ్. So non-animal methods are often cheaper, quicker and more effective than the animal experiments. So there are several experiments have done with the non-animal methods that showed better results compared to the animal methods. So that does not mean replacing animals, does not mean putting the human patients at risk or halting the medical progress. Still it is continuing. Only we have to consider the well-being of animals. Okay? For that purpose only we are using non-medical research. That is not meaning that patients risk to halting the research. Okay? Instead of replacing animals used in testing will improve the quality as well as the humanity of our science. Okay? So due to innovations in science, animal tests are being replaced in areas such as toxicity testing, neuroscience and drug development. I will show you few of the alternatives that is being used for different purposes of medical research as well as basic testing. Next slide please. So these are the some of the methods that is being used for the non-animal methods. You are all well aware of in vitro testing, that is using of cell cultures. So there is no animals involved here. So this is better than any other experiments for performing preliminary screening, preliminary activities of any compounds, any drugs or even for basic physiology, pathology studies. So cell cultures play a central role in majority of diseases such as cancer, sepsis, kidney diseases, even AIDS also can be studied using animal cells. Almost every type of animal, human cells are available. You get them, grow them in laboratory, test with your compound, study the basic mechanism, how the cell proliferation is taking place, how the cell is dying, what are the different proteins is expressing, what are the proteins is suppressing in different conditions. Can be studied initially like antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer activities can be studied using animal cells or human cells. Once you have some preliminary data using these in vitro cultures, then you can move to other methods and then go to the animals. And there are 3D structures also available to similar to the organs. Organ on chip was recently developed. So these organs on chips, especially lung, heart, kidney, some kind of cells that is placed in the chips, and you can use that chips for the treatment of different drugs and test, collect the cells, cell lysate, protein, RNA, any other markers and study the basic mechanism. Instead of using animals, you can use these organs on chips, and also human organs on chips. Different organs will be placed in the one chip. That is also now available. Okay, these chips. Okay, this is a complete organism, like it can be used for as an alternative. So this is lung on chip. This is one kind of chip that is made with lung cells. It represents all kinds of cells. This can be studied for lung allergies, lung fibrosis, lung inflammation, lung injury. Okay, cells can be grown with these chips. It's already grown. Okay, chip. You just have to add some kind of drugs and then wait for some time, collect the cells and then can be studied. It can be a replicate of complete human lung. Okay, so you can do a lot of things in this chip instead of using live animals. Okay, and also skin models, reconstructed skin models also developed. So this can be used for the skin irritation test. Mainly, you know that notorious DRACE test that can be used for toxicity testing. Okay, this is very painful that we use for rabbits. So this is very much alternative for the rabbits. Okay, so this is very successful model, but it is bit expensive. It's bit expensive because it is still under the developmental process. Okay, if these things are available to the common laboratories, we can continuously use this. Okay, next slide please. Human tissues. there is any volunteers that can be donated their tissues that can be used as an alternative. This will provide excellent replicatives compared to the animals because you are directly using human tissues. So that can be used for studying human biology as well as disease and animal testing. For example, skin and eye models made from reconstructed human skin. The previous slide I showed, right? Skin models reconstructed. That is the replacement of rabbit irritation test. And post-mortem brain tissues can be used to study the main multiple sclerosis, Parkinson diseases. So you have to have collaborations with the medical colleges and medical hospitals so that they can give the post-mortem brains or even some tissues that be available from the biopsies. Okay, so these are very good alternatives actually compared to the animals. Reproducibility is very much high, relevance is very much high, so that can be replaced with animal testing. Next. So some people, what they think that there is a debate on PRs, reduction, refinement, replacement. So they think that good animal welfare is inextricably linked to good science. Good animal welfare unte good science vastundi. But some scientists are more interested in scientific objectives than the welfare of the animals. So their aim is to get the results. They publish the thing, they produce the product. So their objective is different. They don't bother about the animal welfare issues. They bother about other 3 R's, second set of 3 R's, that is relevance, robustness and reproducibility. If they are fulfilling these things in their experiment, they think that their objectives is fulfilled, irrespective of the welfare of the animals. So let us see what are these 3 things in the next slide. The relevance is whatever the experiment they do with the animals has to be relevant to the humans models. Okay, the results they get that can be translated to the humans and then it can be applicable to the pharma industries for production of Benetapine. So the relevance is more important when you do animal experiment in the scientific perspective. And robustness refers to the strength of the model to remain unaffected with the minor changes in the conditions that is used for the animal experiments. Whatever conditions, wherever you do, the robustness should be there. And reproducibility, as I mentioned, it should be there. Even if you perform the experiment in different locations, the same condition, reproducibility, these 3 things are there. Okay, in scientific perspective, they consider is the second set of 3 R's. Besides the like reduction, refinement, replacement. Next slide, please. The third model, first model cell culture and second model human organs, human volunteers, and then third model is computer. I am not going to explain these models. You are well aware of these models like in silico docking, computational biology, all these things using models. Every model is available. Even like absorption, toxicity, elimination tests can be done using computer models. There are several softwares are there. You know, several software pharmacology. So those things can be explained by our teachers and you can get even from the literature. Okay, so you can use these models before you go for the animal experimentation. So there are several data mining tools also there. Instead of doing experiment, you just collect the data from different things, available databases. You have to analyze that databases and use that information to get the information for the similar substances. Already done experiments. You plan chestam chala experiments. You have to go through the literature whether that kind of experiments has already been done or not. Based on that, you have to design your experiment. Okay. Next slide, please. Volunteer studies I just mentioned. So these volunteers, like clinical trials, how we do. Okay. So microdosing అనేది ఒక recent things. So low doses of any drug that can be given to the volunteers and measure the potential of the new drugs to the humans before giving it to the animals. Okay. So low doses generally will not have any effect. And also efficacy studies also can be done. All those things can be done even in human volunteers. It's very relevant compared to the animals. Okay. If you do in humans, it will be very good results you get. That can be applicable to the patients also. Less high-tech studies like nutrition, drug addiction, pain, all this can be carried out on consenting humans in the interest of advancing medical research. ఈ న్యూట్రిషనల్ స్టడీస్ ఇవన్నీ కూడా మనం హ్యూమన్ బీయింగ్స్ని యూజ్ చేసుకుని డైరెక్ట్గా వాలంటీర్స్ని స్టడీ చేయొచ్చు అనమాట. ఇవి లెస్ హైటెక్ స్టడీస్. ఆల్ దీస్ థింగ్స్ ఆర్ ది ఆల్టర్నేటివ్స్ టు ది అనిమల్స్. నెక్స్ట్ స్లైడ్ ప్లీజ్. See this some of the examples showing that alternative animal models are better than the animal models. Okay. For example, crude skin allergy test that is done in guinea pigs gives only 72 to 80% prediction. Okay. When they do in cell-based alternative methods, 90% it is predicting. Okay. So that says that non-animal methods are better than the animal methods. Like that, this skin reconstitution test, mainly skin irritation test that done in rabbits will give only 60% prediction. When you use like reconstituted skin, as I showed in the previous slide, it gives 80%, 86% accuracy. That means the non-animal models are high accurate than the animal models. Like that, another the expensive and time-consuming 2-year rat study to assess whether the substance is cancerous to humans or not is showing only 42% accuracy. But when they do in cell-based studies, it can predict almost 90%. See, prediction rate is doubled here. So that is why cell-based non-animal models are very much accurate compared to the animal models. Wherever there is a chance, you can go for the alternatives to the animals. Next slide, please. So for conducting of animals, if there is no chance to conduct non-alternative methods, if there is only possibility to do animal experiment, you have to follow the guidelines. తప్పదు అంటే ఫైనల్గా అనిమల్స్ కావాలంటే యూ హ్యావ్ టు ఫాలో ద గైడ్ లైన్. యూ హ్యావ్ టు సీ ద వెల్ఫేర్ ఆఫ్ అనిమల్స్ అండ్ మినిమం స్టాండర్డ్స్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు ఫాలో. ఇస్తుందా? సో యూ హ్యావ్ టు ఫాలో ద మినిమం స్టాండర్డ్స్ బై ఫాలోయింగ్ దిస్ గైడ్ లైన్స్. సో యువర్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్ మస్ట్ రిజిస్టర్ with CPCA to carry out any animal experiments. Without this CPCA registration, you should not do any animal experiments, as I mentioned in the animal. Even to publish the paper, research paper, even to submit your PhD thesis, it has to be registered, it has to be approved by the Institutional Animal Ethics Committee. So this Institutional Animal Ethics Committee consists of 5 members from the institute, that includes 1 veterinarian to care of the animal health status, and 4 internal members, 1 scientist, biological scientist, chairman and other members. And other external members is nominated by the CPCSC. Okay, 1 main nominee, 1 link nominee, 1 social scientist and 1 biological scientist will be there. So they have to come together and sit with all the members and approve the protocol submitted by the scientist or student researcher. So these experiments shall be performed due care and humanity. Whenever you have animal experiments, your intention should not hurt the animals. Okay, then you will get good results. Okay, so this is the website that is there. So every institution has to be registered through online. You have to submit your approved protocols to the committee through online to the CPCA. Okay, so these details I will show in the afternoon. Okay, Form B, how to fill the Form B, what are the components are there before you do experiments, what are the things you have to be considered, all those things will be discussed in the next session. Next slide please. See, this is my last slide. Animals are sentient, they should be treated as such. You should not alter them, you should not treat like what it is granted. Okay, so it has to be treated as such. As such means దాని బిహేవియర్ ఎలా ఉందో, దాని నార్మల్ కండిషన్ ఎలా ఉందో అలాంటిని వాటిని మీరు అర్థం చేసుకొని అలాగే ట్రీట్ చేయాలి లైక్ హ్యూమన్స్. Okay. So with this I will conclude here.
సో అనిమల్స్ ఎక్స్పెరిమెంట్ చేయాలంటే ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్ రిజిస్ట్రేషన్ ఉండాలి, ఐఏఎస్ అప్రూవల్ ఉండాలి. దానికంటే ముందు ఫామ్ బి అనేది మధ్యాహ్నం చెప్తాను, అది ఫిల్ చేసేది తెలియాలి. ఓకే, ఫిల్ చేసేది తెలిసే ముందు లిటరేచర్ సెర్చ్ చేయాలి. ఎనీ ఆల్టర్నేటివ్ మెథడ్స్ ఏమైనా ఉన్నాయా చెక్ చేయాలి. మీరు ఫార్మసీ కాబట్టి, మీరు పిహెచ్డీ చేస్తున్నారు కాబట్టి, మీరు రీసెర్చర్స్ కాబట్టి అనిమల్స్ యూజ్ చేసేదానికి లేదు. అనిమల్స్ కూడా హ్యూమన్ బీయింగ్తో సమానం. ఓన్లీ దే కెనాట్ ఎక్స్ప్రెస్ దేర్ ఫీలింగ్, బట్ దే ఫీల్, దే సఫర్, దే బిహేవ్ లైక్ నార్మల్. ఓకే, అనిమల్స్ ఆర్ సెంటియంట్ అనిమల్. అందుకని మీరు ఎవ్రీథింగ్ హ్యాస్ టు బి కన్సిడర్డ్ బిఫోర్ ప్లానింగ్ ఆఫ్ డూయింగ్ ఎనీ ఎక్స్పెరిమెంట్స్. ఓకే, అందుకని లిటరేచర్ సర్చ్ చేయాలి, ఆల్టర్నేటివ్ మెథడ్స్ చూడాలి. అఫ్ కోర్స్ అనిమల్స్ ఆర్ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్ టు ప్రోగ్రెస్ ఇన్ మెడికల్ నాలెడ్జ్, రీసెర్చ్. ఓకే, అన్నిటికీ మనకి చాలా బెటర్ రిజల్ట్స్ ఇచ్చాయి. ఆల్ నోబెల్ ప్రైజెస్ ఇది రీసెర్చ్ ఆర్ ఇన్వాల్వ్డ్ విత్ ది అనిమల్స్, రైట్? దెర్ ఇస్ నో డౌట్, బట్ యూ హ్యావ్ ఆల్సో హ్యావ్ టు కన్సిడర్ ది well-being of animals before you do any experiment. That is the only thing you have to consider. Okay? So with this I conclude. If there are any questions, we will take up. If there are no questions, no questions there are. Any question is good question. There is no stupid question. Masala. అంటే ఇది జనరల్ టాక్, ఐ నాట్ టాకింగ్ అబౌట్ ఎనీ రీసెర్చ్, ఎనీథింగ్. హ్యుమానిటీ ఉండాలి, హ్యూమన్ మెథడ్స్ వాడాలి అనిమల్స్ యూజ్ చేసినప్పుడు. దానికి మీరు ప్రిపేర్ అయి ఉండాలి మీ మైండ్లో. రోజు అనిమల్స్ దగ్గరికి పోయి టచ్ చేస్తూ ఉంటే దే విల్ ఫీల్ వెరీ హ్యాపీ. మీరు నెక్స్ట్ రోజు పోయినప్పుడు పడుకోవాలి, హ్యాండింగ్ బాగా నేర్చుకోవాలి. ఓకే, అవన్నీ మీరు ట్రైనింగ్ తీసుకోవాలన్నమాట. డైరెక్ట్గా పోయి ఎక్స్పెరిమెంట్ చేసి కట్ చేస్తూ ఉంటే కుదరదు. ఓకే, ఈ సూపర్వైజర్స్, ఈ గైడ్స్ ట్రైనింగ్ ఉండాలి ఫస్ట్. వాళ్ళకి రూల్స్, రెగ్యులేషన్స్, గైడ్లైన్స్, యాక్ట్స్